Yes, yes, welcome in everyone. It's the One Burner Bachelor, and it's late. It's a beautiful night out there. Angelo's out there somewhere. What a day today. The first episode today for a minute and a half was a prize presentation at the Logan Square Barbershop, which was awesome. And then this afternoon around 3:30, I was treated to Janet, the great grandmother that is in charge of and runs the Hyde Park Emergency Food Pantry. And when I came home from the prize presentation at around 11 o'clock this morning, let's just look out here at the sky if we can for a little bit. The ingredients and what I had purchased to make today's episode, that young chicken in the pot with sweet potatoes and carrots and an apple, and what else did I put in there? Oh, and I actually rolled it around in some dry onion soup mix instead of putting onions in there, and a turnip. I don't know if I mentioned that. So turnip, carrots, an apple, sweet potatoes, and I rolled the whole chicken around in some dry onion soup mix. Okay, and I just shut that off maybe 15 minutes ago. So for at least, 10 hours, this has been simmering in the pot. And as I mentioned before, when I had the chicken quarters simmer all day long and those unbelievably bone-in pork tenderloin ribs, or whatever the official name is for them, I don't know. I actually ended up letting that, not necessarily let it simmer for too long. Let's get another look out the window. This hole right here, okay, I need to say, many of the jokes I tell are not my own. The bad ones probably are, but the ones you kind of laugh at might be probably someone else's. And this one here on the screen, it was one of Rodney Dangerfield's later jokes in his career. And his joke was, my wife's cooking was so bad that the adult flies in the neighborhood took up a collection to sew and repair the holes in our screens so the younger flies wouldn't eat her food. It took a little while for him to say it, but when you think about it, it was kind of funny. So that's not what that hole is. The cats used to be so happy to see me coming home when Angelo and Tahuti were both with us that they would gnaw through that to see me. Angelo doesn't have to anymore. All right, so right now, I am taking the cover off of this. Now, honest to goodness, I opened it once or twice just to get a peek, but I have not touched this, moving it around wise, since I put it in this pot at, oh my goodness, I think noontime at the latest today, and it's now 11 o'clock. So there's carrots in there, there's an apple, there are sweet potatoes, and there's pieces of turnip. And of course I cut the turnip. When I put the chicken in, it took up a lot of the space. So I kind of had to cut the things up to just kind of fit some of them in there, and however they summed and whatever happened, at least I had those flavors in there. So the turnip I cut up in a bunch of small pieces. The carrots I just cut in half, cut the ends of them off. And I can see right now that this carrot doesn't look very orange anymore with the skin on it. Oh, see, now if we turn it over, you can see that one side or the other, whatever happened, that never moved for about however many hours it was. And that's the chicken right there. This is the whole chicken there, which I rolled around in some dry onion soup mix, thinking that I wouldn't have room for everything, so the easiest way to bail out on onions was to use that. And then here, look at this is what I did wrong when I did the pork the other day. The sweet potato, the skin peeled right, steamed right off it like that. But then I beat it up, and it just turned into a soup, which was delicious, or a borscht, but we could have made it awesome vegetables. And so we're just kind of taking it easy here. And this is that another, okay, see, that's another piece of that. Okay, no problem. There's the skin, so we're going to put the skin here. And that's, here you go. This is one of the two really fancy chairs I have from the parlor. We called it the living room in my house on Prospect Street. But the family and the guys, the three brothers from the city that moved in, their fancy furniture and their nice room was the parlor. But either way, this is absolutely the first time that this chair from the living room or the parlor has ever been in the kitchen. But I needed a little more space. So just because I want to take, I want to get that chicken's going to come out of here whole. I'm not going to beat that thing up like I did with the bone-in ribs and the chicken legs. That's the whole reason I have that here, and it's plenty big enough. And I hope I don't have to do it off camera, but if I have to use both sets of tongs to get that thing out because it's simmered for so long without letting it fall apart at all, then I'm going to do that. So right now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to kind of start taking some pieces out now, whole pieces. And here we go. See what and that not only do I have my placemats under there to be safe, but that's my laundry bag. And I'm thinking, well, if I get that stained, they wash that anyways when I bring my laundry to the laundromat. So that's a smart thing to let get stained. Okay, so let's see what else we're gonna do here. See, we're finding an awful lot of this one still has. You know what? We're gonna do that. We're just gonna put that whole half in there. That whole half. Isn't that funny? Like, how can you dig half a hole? Like if someone said, "Hey, dig me a hole." You know what I mean? There's like, if you're digging it, I guess. Now here I am, gotta be very careful. See, here's where I'm talking about not trying to beat things up and doing, because I've simmered this for so long now. This looks like a piece of apple, and I don't know why, but I think no, it might be turnip, but whatever it is, it's going in there. And I put the apple in there. Oh, now look at that. That was definitely, I don't know what it definitely was, but it was definitely something cool. That is the root. I think that was turnip. I think that was some turnip right there that we just saw. Because the sweet potato and the turnip are kind of the same color. But the carrot is as soft as can be. But we still want to get it out of there and let it do its props. And there's no onions. So these are, things like this that look like skin are skin. Like that's got to be skin from a sweet potato right there, or the apple. That's maybe a piece of apple or turnip. And that's definitely a carrot. I'm no gemologist or architect, but that's a carrot. Okay, and here is the turnip and the sweet potato were throwing me for a loop. That's apple, right? That's apple skin, I think, right there. And the apple, and I just, like I said, I put that in because it's kind of a fall thing, Don't you go apple picking in the fall? Like it's kind of there's another carrot. You can jump on the back of I don't know, that go-kart, or not a go-kart, but you know what I mean, though. Maybe the horse-drawn carriage. Now, that is absolutely a chunk of turnip right there. Wow, there's no question. Oh, and look at that. The skin just peeled right off it like that. Yikes. So, I happen to mention go-karts there. Many, many episodes ago, I took a shot at the old steak and cheese sub that we used to make at the old pizza shop. We just called the place late at night. And my friend that worked there with me there, Tim, who I mentioned, go-karts. I think that's what I just said. We went to a place that had go-karts, a bunch, like 6 or 8 of us went, and we were all, kind of doing our thing. We were wise guys. Look at all this stuff. Too bad you can't smell it. Tim was actually the guy, I think, that mentioned smell-o-vision to me for the first time, which I thought was awesome. Look at this chicken, by the way. This thing is starting to just fall apart, but I'm not going to let it. So anyways, here we are. We all get together and we drive some golf balls, which is what you could do at this place. And then you could, do an arcade, and then you could ride the go-karts. So we just decided that the 6 of us, or however, I think there were at least 6 of us, would do that. And I'm sure we must have bet something, an appetite.